Alright, so today we're going to go into NotebookLM. I know, another AI app that's there. We had Gemini, we had School AI, we're talking Magic School, so many that are out there. This one specifically I kind of want to share about developing some resources. Not collaboration with students yet because Google, if you're listening, you need to update in your admin console to be able to disallow, to be able to get NotebookLM, to be able to have different rules that we could allow and disallow for kids. But until then, I'm going to use it as a teaching tool. So here, if I go to NotebookLM and I'm going to start from scratch here, if I was to go to the beginning part, you could add any sort of resources here. So I create a resource, a notebook, if you will. It's a digital notebook. And like a previous video I think I did, is that you add your resources. It does not reach out to the internet. It just, you consolidate it to your resources. So you give it a topic, whatever you like. You add your sources here, so you can search the internet by adding specific sources if you want from the internet, not the whole internet. You could upload files, you could upload websites, which is really great, easy to do. Whoops, let me go back to that. You could directly connect to your Google Drive, which is actually even convenient for you, so that you could actually automatically add your resources here, or just copy text. So I could even type direct text here that you copy instead of having it to be a website. Cool. That's all there. So here are all my resources that I've uploaded beforehand. So it's like a 5th grade science unit that's being used right now, and it's about gravity. Great. So I grabbed all my resources. I developed my unit plan. We have it all set. We throw our resources in here. So the middle sections here, it's an area that you could chat with. This is more of an important feature if you wanted to start developing resources, creating notes, but even more so when we get to the point where you can collab with students. Not yet, like I said, Google, hey, update an admin console so we can do this. But on top of that, this is, I think, the area where I find it to be very intriguing is the studio section. Here, a lot of people used it to create podcasts, which is pretty sick. So you could actually change it to be a deep dive. It takes a long time. Brief, very short. Critique. You could critique something, make it shorter. Default, which is a probably normal one. You can create a debate on it. So it all depends on the topic, and it kind of also gives you like kind of like a preemptive prompt, if you will, if you're using that. So, I could leave it wide open and see what it can do, but more or less you could probably want to just add the prompt that's there. Cool thing too with this is that you could do it in any different language, which is great, so you could have more than one. So I could do a brief one and have it generate. So right now it's going to generate down here in this little tool section. I'm pointing at the screen like you know. Okay, so that's there. Additionally, there's other things you can do. So that was like a podcast, so I could create it, put it into my Google Classroom, or send it to my kids and they can listen to it, which is cool. There's a video overview too. I've been using it lately to do our weekly updates for the school district. So what's nice is that I could take a lot of text and make it really short, easy, and digestible for families. So they have the explainer that's long, or the brief one that's there as well, changing the language. You could change the style, if you will, or just auto select and play a little roulette and see how that works. You could also customize how you want it to visually look, which is great as well. So I'm going to hit auto select for fun. And then here is where you're giving it some context, whether it's a student perspective, lesson structure, practical examples, whatever the case may be. So I'll just use something that's on there. Cool. Hit that generate button. It's now going to generate as well. Videos and audio files do take a little bit, so you can let it go ahead in the background. We'll come revisit it and see how that looks. I'm going to set aside quiz for right now because this is beneficial if we want kids to go into NotebookLM. If you can't, it's kind of pointless for you, but it's neat to use. Flashcards the same way. A few other things that I think that would be really helpful for you would be like creating an infographic. So you could actually create an infographic to make it a lot easier to see for a student's perspective. So you can pick any sort of style. You can pick your standard, it to be detailed, concise, whatever the case may be. Add more descriptive if you want. For right now, you being the bad person of not giving you the description, but here, this is where you would have it generate. So all these are kind of generating, making resources right away for me based off my context. So if I have my 5th grade unit plan and all the resources I've added here, it's now going to pull from those resources and start developing some resources for you that you can use. Alright, so all of our resources get generated and they place right here in the studio section. So here I'll show you have your video, your audio overview, or your infographic. When you click on any one of them, they'll open up in a big screen. Sometimes it takes a little bit to load up, but that's fine. Here I see my infographic that was generated that I didn't have to create if I didn't have the skill set or time to be able to do that, which is nice. You can now actually just download it and push it out to your kids however you'd like. Additionally, if you want to play an audiobook, or an audio podcast that is generated based off any topic in your classroom or anywhere else, you could do that here. So here I have one that's playing.
Well, finally, this tension of that bungee cord is completely dictated by the rule of mass.
So anyway, this is like one that you could play and you could actually download right to your kids. Now here's a cool one I want to show as well. I'm glad I actually recorded. And you see a little hand there, it's interactive mode. So you could actually put this up to your entire classroom if you want. Play it. Let's see here. So I'm going to play. It's going to start my podcast that's supposed to be interactive. So of course I like hitting the button and waiting for things to load up, which is great.
Engineering this absolute perfect solar-powered rover for a deep space mission.
Right, you're calculating all the orbital.
Oh my God, it's like I'm listening to a radio station, which is really neat.
And you launch it,
talking about gravity and many different contexts. I actually went into a deep dive on this. This very descriptive one. Now here's a cool thing. If you want to do this with your students and make it interactive, you can hit the little interactive button. And hold on a second, let's listen. All right, I'm gonna hit play first. Sorry, my bad. All right, so we're gonna play.
Imagine you spend a decade and billions of dollars engineering this absolute perfect
so now we have that. Now I get the little join them.
Listen,
this is pretty
right,
cool.
You're calculating.
Oh, hey, welcome. What's up?
And then you could actually speak right into it. Hey, I want to learn about gravity. Let's talk about it.
I love that idea.
That is precisely what we are doing right now.
Yeah, we're taking the...
All right, cool. So we have that right now. And last but not least, there's that video overview like I told you. So here you could actually take your context, create your video, and it actually will go through every descriptive part.
Meters. That's about a foot. Remember that number. All right, ready to blast off? First stop is our closest neighbor, the moon.
And it does that as well. So what's nice about some of these ones that make resources for you is that you could take it, you could actually download it, you could upload it to your Google Classroom, Seesaw, whatever, or just play it for your students so they get a good descriptor here, which is really nice. Last but not least, the share button is generally what you would typically do to share with your students, but here you don't have to be isolated to get the share button. You could add your notebook to any of your colleagues as well so that they have it as well, so that you're strength in numbers. Try it out. It's really neat to utilize as an AI assistant to be able to develop resources and develop your own primary ones for your classroom.